Back on Economic Buzz, this program can also be seen through StarHub Asia Channel 121 Singapore with me, Basutami Harja and Mr. Amrit Welani, the Vice President of Monex Investing the Futures. Continue our discussion about talking about rupiah, done. But now talking about the investment climate in Indonesia. What are some of the sectors in Indonesia worth investing in now?
Okay, I would see the property sector is a bit overheating. Overheating like a lot, okay, because we're seeing gains of 300% in 3 years. We're seeing huge gains in the property. We have seen huge gains in the property market, as usual, right? Past performance is not indicative of future performance. So we cannot hope that the property price will continue to increase. So I would rather say investors would place their money in more safe place. Property, not at this level. It's always a good play in an emerging country like Indonesia, China, but not at these elevated levels. Levels are too crazy, too elevated, too high. Property market, perhaps in some other areas and all, but not property market. I would say perhaps the financials would be a good bet, as well as commodities are very volatile. Commodities, mining, very volatile.
Mining is always popular. Why is that?
Mining is always popular because Indonesia has got a lot of natural resources. Coal, oil, all that. Like other countries, they're not as lucky as us to have all those natural resources.
So what's your suggestion according to the sector in Indonesia to be invested in?
I would say banks because net interest margins are doing quite good in banks. Banks are doing very well. We see them new branches sprouting all over the country. Definitely banks are doing very well.
Now, okay, enough of Indonesia. Back again to the United States. So how is the earnings season now so far?
Okay, so the earnings season, this is for the third quarter. Yeah, the earnings season are not again as good as the previous quarter.
Why?
Yeah, because Europe has come into play and there's a lot of QE is not helping as much as they thought it would help.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a lot of companies that have missed growth, missed the earnings figures. Europe, the main concern for that. Like there's also been earning drop of around 2.9%.
2.9%.
Yeah, last compared to the previous year. So there's actually been a drop in earnings.
So the earnings beat the expectation this quarter.
They did beat expectations, but not as they did the previous quarter. Yeah, not all. Like in the previous quarter, over 70% beat forecast, analyst forecast. But this quarter, I would say not many, maybe 60%. So there was actually a drop. Though many did beat the expectations and didn't.
Okay. So what are some U.S. equities with fairly good fundamentals and some you would never touch?
Yeah. Okay. Good fundamentals. I would say cash-rich companies. Apple is always a favorite. They release the moment Apple releases a new product, everybody's tuned on to it. What are they releasing now? Everyone is
everyone is like chasing it.
Buying into the buzz that Apple creates. So Apple shares, as a matter of fact, have actually dropped quite a bit. It have dropped from around 700, now trading at around 600.
Talking about financial reports, because the investors now is waiting about the financial reports of ConocoPhillips, the Apples, and the PNG, if I'm not mistaken. How do you see this about how is the strength of this financial report according to the investors?
It depends on the results of the financial reports. Like Apple released good report. The report in which earnings were above expectations, but sales were below expectations. So because of that, we've actually seen quite a steep drop in Apple. So because people expect very high things out of Apple, right? With Steve Jobs and all at the helm of Apple. So same thing, these earnings are very important. Dow Jones, it dropped 240 points as I spoke about it, right? Last week. Why? Because DuPont released earnings that were much below expectations. A 240 drop just from one company, one or two companies releasing bad earnings.
I see that.
So these earnings are very critical to the Dow Jones right now.
Tell me about the case between Apple and Samsung. Is it only affected the investors' confidence about this?
I don't believe so, I believe that Apple won in one court and Samsung won another court. But Apple continues to do very well, but Samsung as well has just released its earnings, record-breaking quarter.
Now, in the United States now, it's become the concern about the job claims, the unemployment becomes higher and will affect the volatility or fluctuation in the financial market. How do you see this about this phenomenon in the United States?
The volatility is quite important, actually. It's unemployment as well. This Friday, they're releasing the unemployment report. The non-farm payrolls, as they're called.
How is the result?
That's what we have to wait for Friday. But the last month's results were unbelievably good. Unemployment actually went as low as 7.8%.
So your expectation after Friday, what would it be?
They're expecting 7.8% actually.
Again.
Yeah. Which is actually a very good number, the best number in 5 years. And if you ask me, there's a political agenda to that.
Yeah. Will it affect another region, I mean, outside the US about the job claims?
Definitely. Because it's all about the dollar, right? Currencies will be affected because we're talking about the dollar. Currencies are traded against the dollar. Commodities like such as gold, oil, they're all traded against the dollar as well. So the non-farm payrolls and unemployment rate will move the dollar, which will in turn move commodities.
Okay, then now to move to Nikkei has strengthened a fair bit above 9,000. Why is this the case?
Okay, the Nikkei, the Japanese stock market, it has actually gone, like you said, above 9,000 because of the fact that the yen has weakened quite a bit. So because the yen has weakened, hence export companies tend to gain. For every 1 yen, companies actually make 60 billion yen in profit.
Yeah. I see that. We'll talk about Hang Seng after this one, Mr. Amrit. Make sure you are still with us on Economic Buzz. After this, we are going to talk more about opportunities in current financial markets. Stay tuned on eBuzz.